All right, we have done the hard part by far. This is the hardest part. The rest of it is pretty easy to understand, pretty easy. So to use our data adapter, we'll go back to our main activity. And let's go, so on our main activity, what did I call this? Did I give it a name? I did not, so I need to give it an ID first. I'm just going to call it RecyclerView. And you'll see that's pretty common. People, if I can spell it. That's pretty common. People just call it RecyclerView. You usually only ever have one, but if you had more than one, we would give it a better name. But don't feel like you have to give it a more descriptive name. People generally don't. So we have a called RecyclerView. Okay, so let's go back over to main activity. First thing is I need some data to display. So what I'm going to create is just a local variable, local property. And let's call it, I'll call it count data, so let's call it. And it'll be a mutable list of string. There we go. So I've got this data called count data. And to start off with, let's go ahead and just add some data into it. So let's say count data dot add, and I can add whatever I want, any string, right? So we'll do 1, 2, 3. So I have data. Now I need to display it. So I need to tie this to my recycler view. Okay, so let's go. So remember, I've got it. It's called recycler view, and I need to give it an adapter. And this is expecting an instance of an object that implements the recycler view interface. So I can create, what did I call it? Item count adapter. So I can create a new instance of item count adapter, and I can pass it in the count data, which is a list of strings. The last thing I do need to, and we'll talk about this maybe later in the course, but I need to give it a layout manager, which kind of tells it, here's how you're supposed to kind of render things. So do a layout manager and just create a new. And this one, for right now anyway, you can just treat it as cookie cutter and just always do it this way. And that's it. So if I run the app now, well, except for the one bug I told you about, we'll go fix later. So let's give it a minute to run and install. And there we go. Except for I did 1, 2, 3, and you only see 1. Well, it's because it's actually down here. 2, 3. But they're all there, and they scroll. So it's really that easy. Like I say, it seems complicated, but it's super simple to implement. But we just got one little problem to fix. I see this problem all the time, so I thought I'd go ahead and leave it in there. The problem is in our item count layout. On the constraint layout here, it says match parent. So is the layout. We actually want to change it to wrap content. And we're going to change it on both. So what match parent says, make me the same size as my parent. So when we threw it inside that recycler view, it was one window high, one window wide. Whereas if I say wrap content, it just takes up and it would just kind of wrap around, take how much ever room it needs. Now the problem with wrap content, you can see, is this is now all the way down on the bottom. So I might want to give it a little bit of padding, go and tie it in here. And if I can select, tie it to that edge. And then maybe give it some padding around the edges just so it's not like pushed up against the screen. And then maybe I want lots of padding here. Let's do 16 on the top and bottom. Okay. So it gives us a nice little room around it, but this will stretch, it'll take up the whole screen. So now let's run again. And this will be more like what you expect. There we go, 1, 2, 3, and you can see we got the padding around it. So I'm going to stop this video here. On the next video, we'll use add and clear to add more items to our list and show you how to clear to reset a list.